soon as you do it.
All right. Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to another episode of the Featured Artist of the Month. And to end the year, we have an amazing gem that is one of the best kept secrets in the whole collective. Right next to me is the man who does all the behind the scenes stuff. If you're wondering who is our DJ, if you're wondering who's our MC, if you're wondering who makes our flyers, this amazing individual is our man. Let me please welcome executive producer Bradley to the interview. How are you doing, Bradley?
Pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing fine. I'm glad that I'm able to get you for December because I think it's very appropriate. Because to me, you're like that gem that just shines the brightest out of a field. And the reason why I say this is because all the work you do behind the scenes. You're not up on stage, you're not seen, but yet you are probably one of the most important people in the collective. May I ask you, what is your secret to your abilities, all your success?
Honestly, there are times where I have just like a creative bug in me, and it doesn't happen often, but when it does happen, I do enjoy, like, I'll make posters just at random for just anyone, and if anyone from the collective wants to, like, a picture where I can edit, make a background, an overlay, get them in some type of other setting, rather than just the boring, white background or whatever color the bar or the venue is. I can do that for them. I have this incredible software that I use that I pay monthly for, and it's very useful. Like you said, I've been making the posters for quite some time, and even before I made them for the whole collective, I was making them for the Songs family, just out of boredom, just for promotional things. And I thought, hey, if I'm doing this for just the Songs family, why can't I do it for the whole, the whole collective?
It's amazing because I've had you do a couple of my pictures, and I will testify to what Bradley here is saying, and it is amazing work. I'm just curious, what made you decide to start becoming an MC? I know that wasn't a role that you started with, but it's something you have grown into.
Honestly, I think it's mostly, I usually would just go to the shows and just hang out, help with, any of the performers who needed help getting dressed. Mm-hmm. And then I think it was a show where there was no MC lined up. Nobody, the actual MC, I don't remember who it was, but they were like, I'm not able to make it. It was a last minute thing where they're not able to make it. So I'm like, well, I'll do it. Let me try it. See how that works out.
So tell us about that first time, though.
Nerve-wracking. It's almost nerve-wracking every single time. Mm-hmm. Actually, I get nervous and I get kind of like, what if I stumble? What if I do? And I do quite it. I do have my fair share of mishaps where I, forget to say something. I usually have a list of things that I want to go over, or I want to say about performers, or how I want to introduce the show. And then as soon as I get up there, it's like a deer in headlights. Like, words are supposed to be coming out of my mouth right now. Not these words, but words.
But I like how that you take that moment of insecurity and you play it. It looks like it's just naturally part of the MC act that you got, because it doesn't look like you're actually caught up there. It looks like it's actually part of, what you're going to do.
Yeah. And it's mostly because I'm really good with doing things on the fly, and I'm good with, like, changing up what I'm doing and what I'm going to say and how I'm going to say it. And if, let's say, someone, like, right before their performance is about to start, and they're like, hey, I'm not ready. I'm like, okay, cool, I can stall for a minute, or do you want me to just skip over you and come back? And I'm pretty well okay with that, and it's very easy for me to do. But it's mostly me forgetting what I'm going to say, and then, okay, I have to say something.
But you make it look so natural. Do you have any advice you would like to give people who maybe want to start becoming an MC or thinking about it?
Not necessarily anything that would be any good. Mostly just, if you get stage fright, just roll with it, and, what's the worst that can happen? You're not going to get your hand chopped off for, making a mistake.
Well, at least not to my knowledge. Well, anyways, let's talk about the stage fright. Have you ever thought about going on stage as a performer one of these nights?
I have thought about it, but I've not coordinated enough. I don't have much practice dancing, and a couple years ago I did have a hip issue, and then I do have issues with my ankles, so being in heels is not a prospect for me. Or performing and dancing. I can barely walk on flat ground without hurting myself.
Okay, that's a very fair answer. You've been with us practically from the beginning, and I remember, along with the original performers, you were there, and you have just stepped into this role beautifully. Now, I want to discuss your favorite performer.
Is it by contract? By legal contract?
No.
Actually, I don't actually have a favorite performer. I do have. It actually varies based on the show itself. I don't have a favorite performer per se, because sometimes this person's bringing their A game, and sometimes this person's bringing their A game, and oh my gosh, be quiet.
Oh yeah. But I'm just teasing you because I love how, and for those of you who don't know, you're married to the wonderful Maya.
Yes.
And I'll tell you what, just seeing you two, there are times where you two have interacted, and I think it brings a nice little highlight to the show. And I just love that little aspect. That I think that some people don't get to see, and I think our audience loves that aspect more. So now that we are rolling into the next year, tell us about some of the projects. I know you have some side projects that you're doing. Can you please tell us about some of those things?
So right now, in the works, on January 8th, Maya, Balzert, and Siren Songs are having a birthday show.
Where is that at?
It is at the Bell Star at 7 p.m.
Okay, so remember that, folks. January, 8th?
8th, yes.
At 7 o'clock, Bell Star. And they got an amazing show lined up. So please tell more.
There is an admission fee of $10, and that's mostly to help pay for the out-of-town performers to be performing. And that's not by me, but that's, it's kind of a thing because we have out-of-town performers coming into town and kind of want to reimburse them for their gas and their hotel stay.
Oh yeah.
A lot of the performers who perform in the collective, are within driving distance. These ones aren't. They're, 5-6 hours out.
Well, that only makes logical sense.
Yes.
Okay. Is there any other projects that you got in the works?
Not at the moment. I haven't really looked too much further in the future. I do, however, have a couple of ideas coming for more springtime.
Okay.
Which, again, I have to work out some more details with that.
That's fair
Details
enough.
will be announced.
I like that those creativities.
Yes.
Get that thing going. But with this coming performance, I love it because we got two of our most amazing performers. We got a wonderful night. Hopefully, we can get a large audience down there to wish Maya and Siren a happy birthday.
Yes, and I haven't. And I was going to announce it on the Drag Collective page as well.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't quite done that yet because I still have the paragraph typed up and I just need to proofread it before I actually publish it. Mm-hmm. And that's another thing, is I hate when I make grammatical errors. I need to read through this stuff several times to make sure it's perfect.
Well, that's the one thing that I personally love about you, is not only your ability to overadapt, but your ability to detail. And you can tell in the shows that you really care, your ability to detail. Would you say that's a fair statement?
Yes. I do enjoy when things are perfect. I'm not one of those people who doubt myself constantly. I'll doubt myself for a second. I'm like, okay, we're just going to go with it, and it's good. And it's worked out well for me, I guess. Making sure, I'll nitpick down to a bit, and I'll cut myself off after, nitpicking for 15 minutes. And then I'm like, okay, enough of that needs to be pushed out to the world.
What you do push out to the world is, I won't lie, I really enjoy it. You have a lot of great ideas, and I hope in the coming year that we get to see more of it. Is there any other plans that you are, in the works of or possibly thinking for this year?
Not exactly. Like I said, it's just kind of brainstorming at the moment, and then when I get things rolling, and then I'll announce it more. Probably going to be with the Drag Club page or with Maya or Siren's page, because I manage those two pages as well. It's not always me behind it, but when I have to publish something that needs to go out, it's going to go out somewhere. on those.
All right, now I'm going to ask you a question, and you don't have to answer, but do you have a favorite memory of any show over, let's say, the last 4 years that you have?
Does it have to be specifically with the collective?
No, it doesn't have to.
Well, there was this one time, a couple of years ago, I think it was in 2019, Baby Ball, when, you know, Miss Maya Balzer, little baby drag queen, knocked her hat fell off. She spun around and then she started walking and kicked her hat into an audience member, just right here. Just the audience member was just like, okay, well, I'm gonna set this here, and then we're gonna continue watching the show. That was pretty funny.
Oh my god, I'll be honest, I forgot about that one. I won't lie, I've had my fair share of spoofs as well, but I will admit, if I remember right, Maya just kept going like it was nothing.
Yeah, was oblivious until, like, after the show. Like, did you remember kicking that into her? No. Well, you did. Right into the face.
Well, I just personally love that, you know, we have the marriage aspect that shows people, you know, the power of love and what things can do. Do you have any any thoughts for our audience? Any positive messages you want to give?
Honestly, I don't want to sound like I'm beating a dead horse, but honestly, it's if you're yourself, that's the best thing you could be, because I've never had. Fortunately, it's not the same. This won't be the same for everyone. There's no possibility it is for everyone. But I've never been, you know, in the closet. Mm-hmm. I've always just been me, and you know, there's a lot of friends that I've had who are like, "Oh, we didn't know you were gay." Okay, I didn't need to know. I need to let everyone know. Am I the same person? You know, I am the same person that I was until you found out what my sexuality was. So, whoop-de-doo. You know, I've always just been myself, and so.
Well, I think it's a good positive message for our audience is to, would you say, just be yourself. Yes. And just go on with your life as is?
Yes.
Well, do you any quick questions for me you want to ask me before we wrap things up?
Is that real?
Yes. This I actually made. This is an actual. Go ahead and feel it. Yep. I bought this at a thrift store. I decorated with the holly berries and then added some ornaments.
Nice.
But
yes.
I definitely want everyone to know that this is the person. If our shows are great, this is the person behind the scenes, taking care of all the problems that you don't get to see out front. This is the person here who keeps us in line, lets us know when break is going to be, lets us know when break is over. So if our shows are any degree of success, it's because of this amazing individual. Bradley, thank you for taking time to speak to us.
And you'll also see me running around at shows constantly, running back, between the DJ booth and the dressing rooms, back, never sit in one spot.
Like I said, if there is anyone who deserves the most credit for its success, it would probably be Bradley. Well, my badass boys and badass babes, it's time for us to go. Thank you for joining us on our Featured Artist of the Month. Who's your vixen in? See you next month.